did she come from in the first place? I just want to know. Because I came from Jesus.
And just like that, Candiace is leaving the Real Housewives of Potomac after 6 years with the reality show. The breaking news was announced on Monday via People magazine, a publication that really doubles as their most trusted public relations platform. The reality star turned singer famously joined the cast as a full-time flute holder on season 3 and instantly became one of the most iconic housewives of all time.
I'm not going to go back and forth with you. What did I say? Let's make these plays for these men.
Whoever you stand, nothing can be done about the fact that Candiace has had one of the biggest entrances across all the franchises.
She can't even act like an adult.
Try me in that kangaroo restaurant. Don't try me in my house. I invited her into my home. I gave her a beverage.
But after 6 successful seasons with RHOP, Candiace is breaking our hearts and leaving the show behind to expand and pursue other streams of revenue. She told People magazine exclusively that she'll officially be a no-show at the show's looming 9th season. She says, "As I embark on a new chapter after 6 remarkable years with the Real Housewives of Potomac, I am filled with gratitude for the enriching friendships, personal growth, and the moments of introspection that have defined this journey. With the whirlwind of new opportunities and responsibilities on my plate, I have decided to take a break from RHOP. But while many fans, myself included, are absolutely stunned by the shocking development, Candiace went on to tease a possible return in the near future. This is not a farewell, but a see you later," she said, leading social media streets to look at her move as very similar to Portia's, who left the Real Housewives of Atlanta, watched the ratings take a massive plunge, and came back with more leverage to ask for a bigger paycheck. There's also the element of coming back once the show has let go of some of the housewives that make it a little bit harder to navigate on the show. And we know that's a big problem right now on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Candiace proceeded to thank her fans in a lovely note, saying, "Your unwavering support has been my guiding light, and I look forward to the exciting adventures that lie ahead, and more importantly, sharing them all with you," she said. And when it comes to Candiace and her fans, they don't play about their fave. It will be interesting to keep an eye on how the show's core audience reacts to this news in the coming days. But one thing is for certain, Candiace's departure is not good news for the Real Housewives of Potomac. The show is currently plagued by negative sentiment, declining ratings, and stiff dynamics amongst the cast, most of whom simply do not bring much to the table. The announcement also comes just days before the season 8 reunion, which has recently given us glimpses of the big drama as the ladies look back at a season packed with grudges, regrets, divisions, and a very tense atmosphere. We do wonder if the ladies will be able to mend some fences at the reunion, especially since the executive producer has issued somewhat of a warning to the cast about their inability to move forward for the sake of the show.
I want to set an intention for us today that each of you can find a path towards moving forward.
But snippets of the reunion suggest otherwise, because Candiace can be seen doubling down on her rivals. She calls Robyn a loser and stands on business regarding her position on Gizelle, whom she calls evil in there. The news also comes just days after Candiace encountered quite a bit of backlash for opening up about her fear of having light-skinned babies despite being married to a white man. And at the moment, Candiace is a guest host on Angela Yee's Way Up show, which should have already been a clue that she's looking at what else is out there for her to explore. And for those who wonder whether or not Candiace was actually fired or left because she wanted to, it's safe and official to state that she absolutely left because she wanted to. According to the People magazine article, a trusted source from production confirmed that Candiace made the decision to leave the franchise on her own. Let's also be clear, okay? Candiace's departure is a loss for the Real Housewives of Potomac, but not so much the other way around. Her singing career is doing well, and this chapter would mark a time for her to take that to the next level. She's also kicked off her acting career, and that too will benefit from her having more time. The show films for quite a chunk of the year, and the filming schedule is quite hectic, as the cast is booked by the show from Tuesday to Saturday in that time, not leaving much for anything else really. We also saw how much of a force she is during her time on Ultimate Girls Trip, and we are now seeing her other capabilities as a co-host on Angela Yee's podcast. Safe to say, she's good. The show, without her, however, I'm not so sure. And outside of the PR comment she's given to the publication, we aren't quite sure why Candiace decided to call it quits now with the show. Though to be quite fair, in recent years, Candiace has been quite vocal about the possibility of leaving the show earlier than fans would like, in order to focus more on her music and acting careers. But in addition to that, one can't help wonder if her departure has to do with the dynamics in the group right now. In recent months, there was talk of her being iced out by some of her detractors on the show, such as Gizelle, Robyn, and Ashley. And Candiace herself has spoken out a bit about how she feels like she's being pushed out by these girls. But I think the main difference is that with Candiace, she remained one of the show's biggest draw cards, and icing her out wouldn't have been as easy to execute. A case in point, rumors are swirling around that Ashley is on the chopping block. And that's a scoop we covered quite extensively a few weeks ago. And after the airing of the fight between Kiana and Deborah, it's not exactly difficult to see one of the many reasons production is reconsidering her role with the show. And as of Monday, there's also word on the streets that Robyn has, in fact, been let go and won't be returning to the show for the 9th season. I think both developments serve as a strong indication that any conspiracy to force Candiace out would have not worked anyways. That said, season 8 of the Real Housewives of Potomac was disastrous to say the least. As a result, Candiace is leaving, or taking a break, however you look at that. Robyn is reportedly not coming back. There's also talk of Ashley being demoted to Friends of the Cast, and Gizelle has lost her position as first chair next to Andy at the reunions. The show is in trouble, but a massive cast shakeup is starting to look like the best way forward. What's happening over there? Stick around for a look back at Candiace and her impact on the Real Housewives of Potomac, the big cast shakeup that is unraveling, as well as what we should be expecting in the coming days. Clap back in the comments, like and share the video to boost us in the algorithm, and hit that subscribe button. Welcome back to the Quench channel, and welcome to the disastrous turn of events for the Real Housewives of Potomac. Candiace has announced her exit, and I think that's the worst thing that can happen to the show at this point in time. Granted, they do have a casting problem, and all the tension built up over the years has reached its boiling point now and has started to burden the show. But Candiace, who came fresh-faced on season 3, has carried the show for multiple seasons now, despite never getting herself the first chair at the reunions, which was never not weird, and also a bit of an indication about some biases with production. That being said, the villain edit never quite stuck because fans were always aware of her being a target. I mean, yeah, she's not innocent here, and none of the cast is in terms of where the problem lies with this cast. But when Gizelle pushed that wild storyline about Chris making her uncomfortable when they were alone together in a hotel room, I think that really did a number on Candiace. And instead of working things out during season 8, things continued on a downward spiral that didn't even give us any kind of entertainment value. Instead, by the end of the season, Candiace is attacked yet again by Deborah, who was brought in by Ashley. And for some, she was brought in for the sole purpose of starting drama. And after being physically attacked twice on the show, having her husband's reputation being torn to shreds, and all of the other crap that generally comes with being on these types of shows, it actually honestly isn't surprising that Candiace would make a decision to step away from it all. Also, and if for nothing, for her mental health. And based on the season 8 reunion trailer, I think everyone in the show is feeling the heat.
I want to set an intention for us today that each of you can find a path towards moving forward.
In fact, executive producer and reunion host Andy Cohen talked about this on his radio show. He said, "The flaw of this season is that there are many women who aren't able to find any common ground with some of the other women. And so there are all these pockets of women that just won't even acknowledge each other, which is not a recipe for, good TV." No, it isn't, Andrew. Y'all have big problems over there. But Candiace won't be part of it anymore. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Remember to like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye.